Anakin Skywalker was a Jedi Knight of the Galactic Republic and the chosen one of the Force. During the Clone Wars, his accomplishments as a battlefield commander earned him the hero with no fear. After turning to the dark side of the Force, he became known as Darth Vader, Dark Lord of the Sith, and apprentice to Emperor Darth Sidious. Hello, and welcome to Centurion's Corner. Today, we're reviewing Anakin Skywalker from the archive line. So as you know, I'm new to the Black Series, so I definitely haven't got the original Anakin Skywalker. So it's quite handy with these coming out. And for 20 quid, it's definitely worth just picking them up right now, or you can still get them. So, yeah, I mean, Anakin Skywalker on the shelf, in your collection. I mean, it's definitely a must-have character. I must admit, I'm not a massive fan of the Hayden Christian kind of Anakin Skywalker, but I love Anakin Skywalker from the Clone Wars. I think he's literally the pinnacle of what he should actually be. But looking at the archive line here, got £20. My sexy lady bought him from London Film Comic Con, from In Demand Toys. They had a stall there, and yeah, £20. It's the asking price. So you know, free post and packaging and all that. So it's all good. So here he is, just a normal blister pack with Anakin Skywalker down one side and archive in the various other languages just there. So pencil drawing at the front, which looks a bit more Hayden Christian than I can say about the facial feature here. And then on the back, just how it used to look back in 2014, and also with the pencil drawing at the top. So yeah. So without further ado, let's crack this bad boy open. Okay, so here he is in his blister pack. Now he's got his extra head that was hindered by the other bit of cardboard there of Hayden Christian, so you couldn't actually see his head. So it's exactly the same as the Darth Maul. So unfortunately, you might get a bad paint app one without even knowing about it. But here he is with his raised lightsaber. Alright, Anakin. But let's get him out of the pack. So yeah, first impressions. I mean, his face and his hair looks pretty cool. Yeah, as I thought, he doesn't really look too much like Hayden Christian, I don't think. But his robes are pretty cool. You know, it's not as good as what I would say like a what's his name, Mace Windu, but you know, it's more on par with the Obi-Wan Kenobi from Episode 3, which is fine because these two are more standing together than any of them. So yeah. So I'll take him away now. I'll go and pose him off, do a lot of pictures and whatnot with him, and I'll see you in a mo. Hello, so welcome back. So I've taken him away. I've had some good little play with him and took some pictures. And I must say, actually, he's passed my expectations. Like being a bit of an older figure from 2014, I thought he might sort of suffer with a few of the sort of bits that Darth Maul sort of suffered with. But yeah, he does a little bit, and he doesn't. But we get through that as we go through it. So with Anakin, he comes with two accessories. One being his lightsaber. Which is just a standard hilt. It's got some nice detailing on there. It's not bled over. You've got the switch, you've got his buttons, and you've got like the rubber rib effect down the bottom, and it's pretty cool. And it's made of that sort of vinyl kind of sort of like squidgy plastic. So the lightsaber can just fit in very nicely in there. So it doesn't feel like it's you have to push it into a bit of hard plastic, and it doesn't have a strong grip on it. It's a strong enough grip, but not a grip that you think is going to sort of like hinder the sort of little nub bit on the end of there. So I quite like the kit when they're quite flexible. His other accessory that he comes with is his mad face. So this is obviously Darth Vader. So the hair and everything on there is pretty cool. Got some nice detailing and sort of bit of airbrushing and everything on there. And obviously with that new facial printing as well, it's pretty cool. The only thing I would liked on this is probably like where it had a bit of like yellow eyes maybe, or like, you know, like the Sith eyes. But no, it does get his look across. Do I think it looks like Hayden Christensen? No, not really. But it's got an Anakin look about it for sure. But yeah, not won over for the looks of it that is Hayden, but it surpasses, which is cool. So obviously the other head that he comes with is just his standard head, which you can't really class it as an accessory because he's going to need it. But again, does it look like Hayden Christensen? No, but again, it does look like an Anakin. And to be honest, I always think that sometimes the recreations of Anakin, like in the Clone Wars and stuff, to me, as I said before, is more of a look what I would imagine what Anakin would be. I think Hayden Christensen, he just always looked a little bit too, well, I don't know, just a little bit too innocent. But yeah, it's pretty good. But we'll look back over this one when we go through the sculpt. And also, if anyone was interested, that this head can fit on an Obi-Wan. So if anyone was going to do a little customization or anything like that, it fits on there, which is pretty cool. Also, another accessory that it doesn't come with is a cape. And if anyone wanted to use that kind of cape, you can actually use Mace Windu's cape, which is quite good. So we can just put that on there just to show it off. There we go. And it just fits over his head just quite nicely. And it's not too robust either, like because obviously Mace Windu is a bit of a bigger figure. And yeah, it just fits in quite nicely. So it's always something you can always do for taking pictures or a few little customs. So that's his accessories, and then what we do, we just go over his articulation. So he can put his head down this low, and he can look up this far. And obviously it's hindered by his hair, and you can actually see the sculpt is actually sort of moulded to his back as well. So he's not going to look up any further, unfortunately. Which is also kind of hindered as well with his ab crunch. So this is where his articulation, I think, is a bit of an older school kind of type of figure. As he's, again, he can't look back, and his back doesn't crunch back either. But he can look forward that low. You can bring his arms up to about there, to just where his shoulder pads are. 360 rotation, 360 rotation at the elbow, and also a 90-degree bend. Well, actually, it's probably just a bit lower than a 90 degree. Well, if you swivel it to the side, it's a bit lower. Rotation at the wrist and also on a hinge. Obviously, his waist swivels. And these bits are quite cool. They're just a bit of a soft plastic. Underneath is a bit of material. And so he can kick forward quite far. And he can kick back this far. And his double jointed knee is pretty good, and he's got a rocker and a pivot there with an upper thigh swivel as well. Unfortunately, there's no sort of like butterfly joint up here, so yeah, he can't really hold his lightsaber with two hands, but he can just about get across, so you can get a few sort of varied poses with it. But as soon as you sort of start coming up, the arms will start coming apart, and your lightsaber hilt will start bending. And that's sometimes where it's quite good, where these are a little bit bendy, so you can still hold it in both hands, but it won't be fully straight. It might be a little bit bent. Right, so looking at that, we can look at his sculpt. So looking back at this head, we can look on the back, And this one hasn't got as many dark patches as the other head, which is just here. Just bring those into focus. So it's a bit of a lighter hair, and I suppose it just shows off the more sort of like goodness in him, and not the evil sweat one from the other one. With the robes, it's very much like the reminiscent of the Obi-Wan sort of figure, where it's all very moulded on. These bits are a little bit more softer plastic, like the leather look here, but yeah, it's completely moulded. But I think it gets the look down, and these very dark leathery parts look pretty cool. And going down to his belt, which got a bit of a black wash on there and weathering. The only thing I think it does look down is that the glove is near enough the same sort of paint as his robe, so it really sort of just blends in and doesn't look definition that it looks different. The only thing that you can see is obviously got the sort of like bronze clips on there, but I would like it to either be a very darker brown, or you know, just to highlight that glove, maybe with a dark wash over the top of it. And obviously his other hand is just a normal hand, and you've got the ruffles of the robe. This bit I think is done really well, which is like a soft vinyl, but it really looks like that sort of like a leather look coming down over his tabard. I think that's done really nicely. And just to finish it off as well, we've got it on the back, which I think Obi-Wan one, it kind of misses that part as well. And it hides, even though I'm not a fan of soft goods, it works with this, and it hides this as well, but it makes it blend in more. So just underneath that, obviously you've got his just normal trousers. Going down to his sort of like Vader-esque boots before he was Vader. But they're all done really nicely. His right leg for me is a little bit gammy. It goes in a little bit, so I'm going to have to get a bit of maybe a hairdryer on there just to bring that leg outwards a bit. But yeah, his boots are done nicely, and they've got all the straps and the buckles all on there, which is pretty nice. So in all, he's a pretty good figure. I mean, I'd highly recommend Anakin. I mean, you need Anakin in your collection. I mean, you'd be silly not to, really. You know, he's the guy that started it all. So definitely highly recommend this character. And now he's out on the archive with the new facial printing for £20. You can't go wrong. You know, it's hard to get before, and now he's a lot easier. So it's definitely the high time to pick him up. And with Star Wars as well, going to start sort of hopefully picking up more momentum as the year goes on, with Force Friday ×3, you know, with all the new content and stuff. Anakin is always the pinnacle that's going to be picked up first from any kind of era of collector, from someone that was from the original trilogies to the prequels to the new ones. Anakin started it. So for £20 at the moment, then I highly recommend it. As an action figure, kids are going to love him. On the shelf, you know, he's got the look. He will sit with your clones. He will sit with all the other Jedis, fighting Obi-Wan and whatnot. And sort of just as having him as a figure, you know, in your collection for £20, then yeah, definitely worth it. So guys, that's my review of Anakin. I hope you enjoyed it. You can comment down below, follow me on Instagram, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye.